Welcome back to Alaska's Political Insider. We're joined now by a young independent filmmaker, Josh Maxwell. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Are you nervous, man?
A little bit.
Yeah, you're used to being behind the camera, not in front.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So what got you interested in film?
My mother and father were artists, so they, I guess at a younger age, my father was an actor, my mother was an actor. They were both theatrical actors, but they wanted to go into film, and my father started making that merge eventually, but you know, things got in the way, and life got in the way, I guess.
Stuff happens, right?
Children, usually.
Yeah, children. And then
darn you, Johnny.
And then you know, it kind of, I guess that kind of ended. But I think he always wanted us, my brother and I, to be creative in some way, and they were very.
They encouraged you guys?
They encouraged us a lot.
Well, obviously, when you were growing up, you said his love of film was there. And you guys, he would take you to see movies, he'd bring movies home, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we were able to stay up. On school nights, we'd stay up late and watch movies with him. This is studio clear?
I'm just beginning to think this whole dinner arrangement thing was a bad idea.
I want to see that.
You can watch it. I'll get you a copy. So that was a clip from a film that I made. It was actually several years ago, but I'm going to be screening it at the open projector night.
Okay, when we come back, let's talk about that movie, and because I got my own ideas, all right?
Sure.
Stick with us. We'll be right back after this.
Welcome back.
Jinx. You owe me soda.
So that was a really interesting film, and you're going to be submitting that, you said, in the next open projector night. What is open projector night? A lot of people don't know. Open
projector night is an event they do at Beartooth. It's, I think, like quarterly, and they just have a bunch of filmmakers come out, independent filmmakers, and they show their work.
So that movie's called Mirrored?
It's called Mirrored, and that was just a clip from it. The movie's actually 20 minutes long, and it's essentially like a single character psychodrama. Basically, it's you're watching a guy lose his mind, essentially.
That's what right off the bat, you could see that this guy's got some problems.
Issues.
Yeah.
He's got issues. Yeah. He's got issues. And he does, that guy, I don't know, what's the actor's name? Because he's doing a good job writing that clip. Man.
His name's Jim Warner. And I sent him the script. He was actually a screenwriter professor in Pennsylvania, and I sent him a copy of the script, and he said, "Man, this is like a poem." And he loves poetry. He writes a lot of poetry, and he said, "I would love to be a part of this, man. It reads like a poem." And so I said,
nice.
"That'd be great, man. Let's do it." And so we made it.
Now you've been doing short films as well.
Yes, I've been doing a lot of I guess a lot of stuff. I've been working on a feature, probably for about 2 years now. I've been working on it, and I'm hoping.
What's that called?
It's called Dirt Monster, Brother John Loves You.
And we have a clip of that too, don't we?
We do have a clip from that.
Let's roll the
let's
Dirt
roll that
Monster.
One. Dirt Monster.
A vehicle collision occurring yesterday outside the little town of Brownington has taken the lives of Debbie and Gary Maxwell. The couples lived in Brownington for nearly 32 years, raising a small family here and calling the town home with their son John. We had the opportunity to speak with John after the accident. He says, quote, "I loved my mother and father very much. They have always believed in me and supported me in everything. Their passing will be difficult and is something I fear may haunt me for some time."
What about your mom? Do you still hear her voice?
Yeah, I can still hear her sing, like when I was a boy. And I can still hear her say, "I love you."
What's your fondest memory of her?
Well, I remember that she used to wake me up late for school every morning and then drive me in. I used to think it was my fault because I should have been getting up on my own. But then she told me that she did it on purpose so that she could spend more time with me.
That's beautiful, John. Sounds like she cared a lot about you.
Yeah.
Josh, you obviously use a lot of different tools that the average filmmaker doesn't.
I like the idea of just having everything that's at my disposal. I think that as an independent filmmaker, you are able to utilize just about anything you have without worrying about any consequences, because we're completely free of obligations. The only obligation we have is to ourselves, and that's to make something the best that we can and to get our vision out there. And I mean, if all you have to get your vision out there is, is some tracings of some people or, cardboard, whatever. It's completely up to you to use whatever tools you have available to make a film, because there's no producer that's invested enough money into your film to say whether you can do it or not.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think we need to strive to get there. And I would love to have, a producer that could give me tons of money to make an amazing film, as wonderful as I'd like to make it. But until then, we can make films as wonderful as we'd like to make them with less money. So
it's a good opportunity for you to practice different ways of doing things until you find your own vision.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I've kind of been looking at this film as just a mixed media feature film. I'm actually just going with it as I go. And it's taken a long time, and I wouldn't be surprised if it takes, like 4 years or, however long. I'd like to have it done by the summertime, but I'm willing to take as long as it takes, because I just, it's important to
do it right.
To do it right.
To get your vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to take another commercial break, but stick with us. We'll be back in just a moment.
Welcome back. So, Josh, tell us a little bit about the story of Dirt Monster, Brother John Loves You.
Dirt Monster, Brother John Loves You is, I guess, I'll say it's like a Christian fantasy, okay? And I guess we could call it like a spiritual fantasy, but essentially it's about a guy who loses his parents, and he's struggling for a long time trying to find something. After losing his parents, he lost his faith, and 2 years later, he finds a dirt monster in the abandoned lot next to his house. This dirt monster was once a man who was cast out into dirt for essentially abandoning his family and becoming an alcoholic. Now he's struggling with similar things, John is, and so Dirt finds this to be like a perfect person to help bring back to his faith.
Random sounds that I can hear as I lie on the couch with my eyes closed. I can hear a motorcycle driving by outside. It was passing and getting further and further away. I can hear a clock ticking. Most of the time I don't even know it's there. If I'm still, I can hear my heart beating in my ears as I pulse against the pillow. I can hear the sound of my heart and my breath as I talk. I hear the sound of a computer. Its drives are making noise from its fan, cooling it off. I hear the sound of air conditioning working constantly since it is very hot. I just heard a bird singing. There's many birds around this house because there are many trees by a lake in South Carolina. I hear the sound of me swallowing saliva, and my lips are dry, and I'm in need of a drink of water. The bird is still singing. Many birds are actually singing together. But I don't think anyone listens to them.
That's amazing, man. I tell you what, that's powerful. Because you could see his descent. And you could feel like he's picking up on all those little things that, because he lost his parents, and just smells and touches and little moments, like snapshots from his life. He's remembering those things. But, and then when he meets up with this dirt monster, I mean, there's so many things here, so many emotions, so many, that's pretty powerful.
It kind of brings life back to him, you know? I think there's, you know, like, a lot of things that probably happen after you experience something like that. I think, you know, there's a loss of self, you know, and trying to find out who you are again. So I think... What
motivated you to write this?
Well, it's semi-autobiographical. Clearly, I've never met a dirt monster before, but it's you know, things I've experienced in my life.
Yeah.
So, and I met this guy John, well, Aaron is his real name.
Right. Yeah.
And we worked together at a Christian community in Philadelphia called The Simple Way. It was kind of in the worst part of Philadelphia, and we did a lot of help with homelessness there and a lot of other things. And I told him about this film, and we started working together on it, and he really just embraced the character.
Yeah.
And so the song that was playing in the intro was that's the intro to the film, and that song was actually something he wrote and recorded.
Nice.
And
so it's very authentic.
Very authentic.
Yeah. Two words that come to my mind are survival and redemption. I mean, I'm sure those are themes in that movie.
Oh yeah.
Now, I want to see you get. We got to make the rest of this movie, man, because this is good stuff. And see, it gives you an appreciation for independent filmmakers. It really does. You know, so.
Well, thank you so much for joining us
Thanks
today,
for
Josh.
having me. Glad we could do this.
Time to take a short break. Stay with us.